Another Giants training camp practice is officially in the books, but today's one felt different. Daniel Jones probably had his most efficient day, and the offense looked the most explosive. Out of all the training camp days, today was the one that the offense started to gel, started to gain some momentum, and you are going to want to hear about today's practice. Now, before we dive into all the news, notes, highlights, observations from today's practice, I need you guys to do me a massive favor and go give a follow to all of the Giants media members on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, because guys, sometimes I feel like I'm literally at practice with the amount of highlights and notes that they post. They're insane. There's so many more. You're going to see 3 @. Once you follow them, you're going to be able to find so many more Giants pages out there that post so much from practice. I mean, there's a couple of really good ones, including Bobby Skinner and Justin Panique. I mean, there's so many good ones. So go give them a follow on X if you haven't already done so. And with that being said, let's dive into yet another Giants practice here today. Now, Daniel Jones started off today like he didn't look like Daniel Jones. He looked like a really, really good, efficient, productive quarterback. I mean, listen, not saying he's a bad quarterback, just saying throughout training camp so far, he hasn't been the most consistent. But today he was. Daniel Jones found Theo Johnson a couple of times early on in practice, making sure the tight end was going to get a lot of targets today, and he did. Theo Johnson was one of the biggest standouts from today. They ran a lot of 12 personnel sets, allowed him to get in on a lot of opportunity, and he caught the majority of balls that went his way. We also saw Drew Lock throw a couple of balls to Jack Stoll. Tyrone Tracy was practicing with the twos today, so he's already made a jump up this depth chart here, so that is good news for him. We saw Ty Herndon make a nice play on a screen, get a nice tackle for a loss. That was early on in practice, but once they started to ramp up into 7-on-7s, we started to see the defense take a little bit of the wins, right? But towards the end is when Daniel Jones kind of went crazy. Now, Isaiah Simmons had 2 tip balls at the beginning of practice, and they were both intercepted by Alex Johnson, who is another guy trying to make this team, trying to make his way up the depth chart. And today he did. Him and Isaiah Simmons had a couple of good connections with those 2 jump ball or tip balls and 2 interceptions as well. We probably had one of the best plays of the day, because there was one that was to Malik Nabers that was definitely the play of the day. But here was another good one. Bryce Ford Wheaton on a nasty pass by Tommy DeVito. Goes and gets it. Bryce Ford Wheaton makes a really insane catch at practice today. We had some good blitz pickup by Tyrone Tracy, which is why he is getting so much opportunity with the twos, is because, listen, one of the most important things in the NFL, in football, is protecting the quarterback. And I feel like the blitz pickup and the pass pro of Tyrone Tracy is something that stands out a ton to the Giants. Had one against Bobby O, where he had a nice little pickup, and then he had one where he stayed in the backfield. The quarterback kind of adjusted his play at the line of scrimmage, and he just had a really good block on an edge rusher. Again, shout out to Tyrone Tracy. He has been doing really good in pass pro. So if he can continue to do that, I will not be surprised at all if he starts making a big impression on this team. Also, Eric Gray, another running back trying to make his name here, trying to work his way up the depth chart, had a nice little catch on a wheel route from Drew Lock. It was a nice little play there. It was in the face of a defender. Beautiful catch by Eric Gray. Now, before we get into the juiciness of today's practice, guys, make sure you do me a big favor. Hit the like button, but more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you're new. It doesn't cost anything, and we will be covering the entirety of the offseason for the Giants, not only for every single training camp, but also preseason football games, live streaming those on my Twitch. You can find the link in the description, but more importantly, we're going to be breaking down film of preseason and regular season games, looking at specific players, looking at the offense, looking at the defense, just breaking down the film. So make sure you guys join the family if you haven't already done so, man. We are just getting started. Now, let's kind of ramp it up a little bit. So the first team offensive line looked like Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, Greg Van Roten, Aaron Stinney, and Jermaine Illuminor. Obviously, the plan is to get Greg Van Roten to get to the guard position a little bit. So they're going to start easing him into playing right guard. John Runyon moved to the left side. Hopefully they can get Greg Van Roten at the right side, and then once John Michael Schmitz is back, he'll take the center snaps. Now, let's get into a little bit of the 11-on-11s in the team drill. So, Daniel Jones overall was 11 of 15. Have not seen him throw that consistently at a practice all year long. He did end the day with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had one deep to Malik Nabers on an out and up on 3rd and long. It was a beautiful, guys. You're going to see the Malik Nabers one here a couple of times. Beautiful throw, but beautiful catch as Daniel Jones throws one to Malik Nabers for a touchdown. We also had another one where he found Jalen Hyatt wide open on a scramble to his right. Ball is a little bit underthrown, but ends up being a touchdown anyway. That was cool to see. Interception by, I want to say Bobby O. It was, no, okay, so Bobby O tipped it up, and Deontay Johnson ended up getting the interception. He tried to fit one into Daniel Bellinger, so that was his interception of the day. We also had, Isaiah Simmons. Oh, we already talked about that. Isaiah Simmons get a couple of tips up in the air. Johnson brings him down. Deontay Johnson got a couple of first-team reps today. Probably had 2 sacks in practice if they were hitting the quarterback, and had an interception. So Deontay Johnson, he is breaking out, and don't be surprised if he is a big-time contributor to this Giants team this season. Theo Johnson probably is the best tight end on this football team right away. I mean, a lot of people are going to say Daniel Bellinger, right? But, I mean, when you talk about the development of Theo Johnson just over the last couple of weeks here, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty fun to see. He's dynamic. He's fast. He's quick. He can get up the seam. He can do everything. He can do everything for you. So Theo Johnson is the guy who they're really high on. He's been getting a lot of targets from Daniel Jones, and he's someone that you need to look out for during preseason. Also, yeah, comment down below who is 2 players that you're so excited or you're most excited to see during training or preseason football games, whether it's an offensive player or actually do an offensive player and a defensive player that you were excited to see during preseason football. But overall, today was a beautiful day of practice. Offense finally had the day of camp that they needed. They needed this a lot. And I think this is just a stepping stone. A step in the right direction for Daniel Jones' offense. They have a lot of good talent here offensively. They can just put it together a little bit, man. It could be a big year in totality. So hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Oh, Dante Miller, also a guy getting some reps with the ones today. Interesting. So shout out to Dante Miller. Boys, join the family. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Follow the Twitch. Go check out Underdog Fantasy. They will match your first deposit and give you extra money. And yeah, I'm going to be betting a lot using Underdog in the preseason. Trust me, I've already looked at a lot of the lines. Trust me, I'm going to get a lot of these Tyrone Tracy bets in the book. So go check out Underdog, link in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.